Welcome, denizens of the internet. We are Grin and Barrett.
I'm AC, and I am drinking this Sprite fruit popsicle cocktail thing, no alcohol.
I'm Knuckles, and I'm just drinking water. No alcohol for me today either.
I'm Iris, and I'm drinking a Thai tea without the milk. It's just tea.
I'm Alice, and I'm apparently drinking alone because I have a margarita.
Oh,
Sorry.
I can't do it today.
Yeah, same.
So today's topic is COVID because guess what? I got it or had it. Recovering from it. That kind of thing.
How are you feeling now? Like, are you feeling better?
Much better, I guess. I'm on day 17 or 18 if you do the math. So, and that's with the vaccine. So I feel like if I hadn't had the vaccine, I would have been a lot worse than what I had. And they didn't tell me which version I got, but just how quickly I caught it, I think I got the Delta, just going by what everybody says.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell me, they didn't differentiate when I went and got tested. So
I was wondering about that. Because, can they differentiate?
So,
a lot of people wanted to know, but I don't know if it's too early. I went to a rapid urgent care, so I don't even know if they have those tests. I'm sorry, Alice, you were going to say something?
Well, typically what they do is they test you for a yes-no answer, and they can get that in-house fairly quickly. But they take a sample of the samples, and they send it off to a lab to do further, DNA testing. Well, RNA. The coronavirus uses RNA, so they do RNA testing on it at a bigger lab that can get those answers. Because you need a lot fancier equipment. I think you need a mass spec to do that, to get a more definitive answer than yes or no.
I mean, I knew my answer in 15 minutes, so I don't think and it was a 4-hour wait. So so how about I just explain what happened? So I think that's the best thing. So this would have been 4 weeks ago. So it would have been around June 20th-ish. I went to a convention in town. It was our first real big convention, and I wanted to go because I was going for this is how I look at that convention. I went to that convention to rehearse the convention that I'm going to in September. I wanted to see friends, try out cosplays, and just people watch. So, and they, at this convention, they had a rule about, they were fine. It was, they didn't really do 6 feet, social separation, but they tried to enforce rules. If you were not vaccinated, you wore a wristband that said you were vaccinated. If you were not, they tried to enforce the mask the mask rule. But it was also anime conventions. You had a lot of young people, young kids and stuff walking around. So, big crowd. I think they had over 8,000 people. So, stuff happens. So it was a lot of fun. But I know me and another friend got it, and then another friend tested positive a week later that we were all hanging out with. I don't know what day. I don't think her and I, we only saw each other the Friday of the convention, and then we all both came down with it the Monday.
Yep.
Had symptoms, and then we both got, I think she went and got tested Monday, got her results Tuesday. I got tested with the rapid and found out on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I found it. The same day she did, but like I said, I didn't wait. I did the rapid. So I don't know when it happened. The only thing that I don't think I got it. I don't think her and I gave it to each other. Also, she was clean. She tested the Thursday and was negative, and then went to convention. So I don't think her and I gave it to each other.
Yeah.
I sat in something questionable on the floor at the convention. So I think that whatever it was, because it smelled really funny when I realized what I sat in. So I think that's how I got it.
Yeah.
I think I sat and threw up. So there you go. I mean, it was right
my
near the main,
gosh.
yeah, it was right near the main room where they do all the like their party stuff. Because that was the big room, so it was right near their rave that goes till 3 a.m. So somebody could have gotten sick in that spot, and that's just
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
happens, on, you know. So it was nobody's fault. Just beware of wet spots.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really good advice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so let's talk about my symptoms. So I was feeling bad Monday. Went to work. I assumed I had con crud.
Yeah.
Because I did not. I will say I did not wear my mask the whole time, and I should have, because I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have gotten sick if I had been more aware. But like I said, I had the vaccine, so I was like, I'm okay, you know.
Yeah.
But just because you have the vaccine doesn't mean you can't get it. Proof. So anyway, the symptoms. I was feeling like I had a sore throat. I was run down, but I still felt like I just thought we had a fun weekend. I was just tired. I went walking that night. I drank a beer. I felt fine until later that night around 10 when I went to pick up my dog, take her out. When I picked her up, my head, like literally the pressure in my head changed when I got up.
Ooh.
And I had this really bad headache. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And I just thought I was dehydrated because I had a beer. Next morning, I wake up, sore throat, full head cold. And I was like, okay. Kissed my boyfriend goodbye. Was like, okay, I'm going to go get tested. I probably just have con crud, whatever, because that is a thing too.
Yep.
So I go, and then literally I waited the 4 hours in the heat because my AC couldn't keep up with the weather. It was like the hottest day, happened to be that Tuesday.
Ugh.
And so yeah, so long story short, so I finally got seen, but by then I had a fever because I'd been sitting in the heat.
Yeah.
So they tested me. They're like, "You have a fever." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Hey, after y'all do COVID and I come back negative, can we test for strep and fever?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." So they do that. They come back and they're like, "Yeah, we don't need to test for the other things." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Because you got COVID." I'm like, "Great." Yeah. So by then I was feeling so bad. I didn't have anything in my house, and I'm like, "How am I going to get stuff?" So so immediately had to call work, had to do all that stuff while feeling
Terrible.
really bad stuff. Yeah, it was just like I said, headache. I didn't really have the breathing yet. It was getting there, but it just felt like a really bad cold or like a flu. But by the time I got home and sat down and did everything, like I want to say around 5 or 6, that's when I got the chills. So I had the chills for about 3 days. I definitely had fog brain. Work wanted me to work from home, which is fine, but I just didn't have the energy to go get the stuff I needed to get and do what I needed to do because I just felt you can't think. Like you just feel miserable. Yeah, that and then I was wrapping my head around like because I was afraid I hung out with Knuckles, I hung out with my boyfriend for 5 days. So I was freaking out that I gave them to it. They're fine. They didn't get it.
I still don't really. I'm like, because I went and I got the drive-through testing done, and I didn't get the results till the next day. But I swear to you, I know I felt fine, but I was like, there's no way I don't have it. We hung out like 5 days ago.
5 days straight.
There's no way.
I was
But
with both of you the day I had symptoms. So I still don't know how my boyfriend didn't get it because I kissed him. Like I literally kissed him before I went to go get tested. Oh, sorry, Alice.
You're fine. I know you both were vaccinated. Did you guys have the same vaccine?
No.
No, I got the one shot J&J, and you got Pfizer.
Pfizer. My boyfriend.
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yeah.
Well, we thought. I thought that would be a difference.
And there are breakthrough cases.
Right.
It's just.
The only thing that I think is different is because I have autoimmune problems.
Yes. Yeah.
I have thyroid and the skin thing. So that could be why I'm a little bit more susceptible to stuff.
Yeah.
Than you guys. That's the only thing I could think of because I literally hung out with you guys. 5 days straight. I'm just glad because I was freaking out that I got people sick. So
and that's what I was worried about too. Like that's all I'm ever worried about. I'm like, I'll be able to beat it if I do get sick, but like just else gets sick because of me, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. So the only thing was like I said, I literally did not feel well until on day 14. So like I got better. I had to stay separate for people for 10 days, and they said they suggested that if you're gonna break the 14-day to go get tested again, but everything else I read said if you go get tested, you're still going to test positive. So they said as long as you're feeling better, and my work doesn't have a policy about getting retested, you can leave 10 days. Just you have to be improving every day. So I was. And then I just, with work, I could have come back on the 10th day or the 11th day. So I asked to extend it because it was like a Friday. So I extended it to the 15th day. So I made sure that I was completely, not
that's safer anyway.
But I really
than
didn't
going
feel well.
back.
I really didn't feel well to the 14th, 15th day. Like I felt more like me. And it's still this week, I still kind of have brain fog and still kind of congested, but don't have a cough, and I'm slowly getting back. The fatigue finally left on day 15, but the fatigue was still there. That was still annoying. I still get tired if I go up more than 2 flights of stairs, so that's annoying. But other than that, I'm slowly getting back. But I can't imagine if I didn't have the vaccine. I mean, you hear horror stories and stuff. So, but that's my story.
I'm just glad you're feeling better because that's not a fun thing to, and then it's also extremely stressful too, no matter what. You're feeling bad and then you're stressed out because you do a lot of things. You're like suddenly alone in your house.
Oh yeah, that was fine. Couldn't see anybody for 10 days. Literally, my boyfriend would come over, he'd give me stuff, he'd throw stuff at me and run out the door. Like that's literally what we did.
Like, so sad.
Yeah. I couldn't, there was one day I was so exhausted that I was like, is there no way you can come get the dog? He goes, yeah. And it was funny. He comes over and he grabs the dog, and he after he brought her back up, he goes, "Oh look, you have sanitize here. That's smart that you put it right by the door." I'm like, "That has been there for 3 months by the door." And he's like,
"But thank you."
I thought it was that free bottle of sanitizer I got from some store I went with Knuckles. But I was like, "That's been there the whole time." So
that's not new, bud.
But we didn't, yeah. So anyway, I just thought that. But yeah, so that's what I did.
I'm glad you're feeling better. So thankfully I didn't get it, but I'm going tomorrow to get tested again just to kind of make double sure. Because I'm going out of town on a little mini beach vacation with a couple of friends. So it's like, okay, let me go get tested so I have something that's saying, okay, you're good. You know what I mean? Because if it comes back and it says positive, I'll just say, oh, ladies, I'll see you later, and I just won't go. It's not a big deal. It's just I just want to make sure everyone's safe. But like my experience with it, I may have gotten it in March of 2020, but I don't know. But my family got it because they all live in the same house, parents and brother. And like when I say, so they got it the weekend, like my dad was feeling bad. I went over to their house. We kind of had him in another room. And then the rest of us ate dinner together. I went home. That was the first week that we were all working from home. And I didn't have, I lost my sense of taste and smell that week. And then we found out that Thursday that all of them had it. And so they were sick for 14 days straight. But when I say sick, like my dad was sick first. So my mom took care of him. And then my brother got sick too. She took care of him. And then it switched. My mom got really sick. My mom almost had to go to the hospital because she was coughing so bad. It was so bad. And it was like, and I couldn't do anything. Like I felt helpless because I couldn't go over and help them. I could bring them stuff, but like another family member was bringing them stuff. So it just felt like super isolating. And I was, and I didn't tell my wife either because I was internally dealing with it. And I was like, I really don't want to have to update more people about their status. That was the big thing because I had already told my closest friends. They were aware. I would have to keep constantly updating them as well. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this is so stressful. Like, I didn't do my work until they all started feeling better. But my mom, was, pretty much a day away from going to the hospital because, and then essentially, I think she was coughing really badly for about 9 days. Oh, all of them had fever for 14 days too. It was really got super hard because this was before vaccines. So, yeah. And then, weirdly enough, what's that?
I only had fever one day and then I had chills. So I didn't have it that bad.
Thank goodness. Because that's what was freaking us out because their brains were being cooked for days on end. Think about it And it's just like, yeah. So I was so scared I was about to lose my entire family, or yeah, like, or they get so sick that they would have to help for the rest of their lives, kind of thing. So yeah, so like I just remember being like, you know, focusing on, but also being like, I don't care about that right now. I'm so scared that I'm gonna lose my entire family. And then like months and months and months later, when my dad, well, like a few months later, my dad went back to work, and my mom had left her. No, she's not retired yet, but she had the job she had before had like phased out her position. It's dumb, but anyway, like, which really angered me because it was like she had about 1.5 to 2 years left before she could officially go on, like, retire and get Medicare and all that stuff. So I was like super mad at them, and I'm like, y'all couldn't have just really.
Mm-hmm.
So she's already got another job. She's fine. But my dad, like when he went back, they started doing antibody testing, and my dad had the antibodies as of, I think it was like January of 2021. He still had antibodies. I was like, yeah, they were all like, I didn't know they could stick around that long. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that was my personal experience with it. So like, I still don't know if I got it. And then I got the J&J vaccine basically as soon as possible. Like as soon as I was able to get an appointment to go get it done, I did it. Yeah.
I just want to add, the one reason why I'm not drinking alcohol tonight is that I'm finally feeling somewhat back to normal. So I didn't want to screw it up by drinking alcohol. So
I don't blame you.
And then I was also supposed to go have a doctor's appointment for a cavity. I didn't want to do that. I'm like, I'm finally feeling better. I'll do that next week. I was like, I'm finally starting to feel better. Let's have my body like go back to normal and then go do all this stuff that make me feel crappy again. Let's not like, stir the pot too much. So, but this is, I have to say today, I don't feel, brain fog has finally lifted. Like I couldn't even make lists. Like I couldn't even like do what I need to do. Cause it was like, unless it was like work, cause I know how to I have a routine at work, but it was like, I'm sure supposed to be planning stuff for the next convention that I'm going to if they don't cancel, because I'm going. I'm like, I've already been sick, still going. I'll just make sure I wear a mask this time.
Yeah.
And I know I washed my hands when I was at the thing, so that's just I will watch for wet spots and I will wear a mask religiously. So.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
just take those precautions.
The only last thing I want to say is, it's funny because Knuckles, you offered me your water bottle at the convention. I remember telling you no. And I'm just like, I'm so glad I told her no. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share.
Yeah. I know. I thought about that because we went to the bar after the first night of the convention. That bar, well, it's my favorite bar. And like, we were just kind of, I mean, it was like any other bar night. We were like hanging out, talking to people, no masks. Like, I mean, like kind of masks, but not a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still why I'm like, how the heck did I not get it?
I know. I have no clue.
No.
But it's because I was like, no, I don't. I was like, I don't want to share because it just, But we were hanging out anyway. But I was just like, I'm so glad I didn't share.
But that's good because like, let's just never we really shouldn't share anyway.
Share anything
ever. like definitely not drinks. But yeah, like I'll remember that too because I'm just like I'm one of those people that it's like, oh, are you thirsty? Here's some food, and it's like, no.
If I go to share a drink, I'll usually like use my straw like a pipette and like decant it into something like a little glass so that it's not cross contamination.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I'll do that before I've taken a sip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think Iris wanted to say something, and I jumped in real quick just to finish my story. But I didn't know if were you trying to say something?
No, I was just gonna go on with my thing. Ugh, come here, cat for comfort.
Oh.
Okay. So I have my cat and my dog are gonna be evil. Whoa. No, don't do the thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Anyway. Well, not being able to drink is kind of a good segue into why I'm not drinking tonight and my COVID story. I'm not drinking tonight because my anxiety has been so bad for the last 3 weeks that I have had like stomach issues like constantly. So drinking alcohol like just makes me feel like I want to die. So COVID for me, I have not gotten sick yet, knock on wood. But I'm a frontline worker, and I have been throughout almost all of the pandemic. There was a time when I moved from New Orleans to where I am now, when I had a few, like maybe a month and a half off to get us like situated and to find a new job. And a move. I mean, it took time to do that, but even before we moved, my anxiety, just because of the pandemic happening, was definitely heightened. I was having panic attacks probably once a week, if not more than once a week, for most of the pandemic. At least most of 2020. And then I'm in therapy to try to, not do that. But like it definitely got better as vaccines were happening and numbers were going down. But the numbers are going back up now. So as goes my anxiety. So so it's just with the pandemic and also moving, like I've just felt super, super isolated. I do get to go out and go to a workspace, which is good. I don't know how I could handle it if I didn't, because I just feel like I am like trapped, because I just haven't, all of us haven't been able to do all of the things that we're used to do. I'm states and states away from all of my friends and family other than my immediate family. And I am like terrified of bringing something back home to my son and having him be really sick. He's young and he can't get vaccinated. So it's just like a constant like, I'm scared. So that's what COVID's done to me. Also, like all of 2020, I didn't get to see any of my family, like at all, which I think is like the norm. But mental health in general for like, I think the general public has just like gone way down with COVID, because we just haven't been able to do any of the things we normally do to help with our mental health. We all feel super isolated. And other than being physically ill with COVID, I think that that's also something that we as a society really need to think about, because I know I'm not the only one who, my mental health was bad before, but that definitely had a significant increase in mental illness after all of this happening. It just feels like the end of the world. So get your vaccine. Please. Like, please. Even if you don't think it does anything, just do it anyway. Like, like we can tell I don't want to go into all this, but we can tell in states that people don't have a high vaccination rate. Like now that there's new variants coming out, it's just obvious that the vaccine does something.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's my story. Okay, guess it's my turn. Well, I haven't had COVID myself. I feel you on the anxiety, because, oh my god, like, I mostly just, like, ignore my anxiety and just, like, go, in the background. But, like, I've been pretty bad this whole past year. And, like, I haven't been able to see anybody to, like, chill out at all. It got to the point where between work anxiety and COVID anxiety that it took me 2 days to eat an apple.
Ooh.
Yeah, like that was a rough couple of days. Like I just sat on the couch all night watching comedies to try and get myself out of the funk. And it was hard to eat the apple. I made myself eat it. But like I was hopeful at the beginning of the vaccine, or the beginning of the quarantine. I was hopeful. I thought like, oh, maybe we'll just as a society adopt mask wearing when you're sick, and that'll make my health better in general because I get sick a lot. I have a very poor immune system. I have 22 allergies that I know of. Which adding to my stress and anxiety, I'm allergic to Lysol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guess
that
what
does
everyone
not
was
help.
spraying? I started to ask if I could work from home early because they were throwing it around work. I'm like, is it possible that I could start doing that? Because like normally when we get sick, we were allowed to work from home anyway. I'm like, can I start remoting in? Because like I'm allergic to Lysol and everyone's spraying it. I don't want to have an allergic reaction coming into the office. And then like the next day they're like, yeah, we're gonna go hang home. And ever since then it's been an email every month going, we're extending it by another month. Which they were like very concrete that we were going to go back in September, and then Delta. And they're like, so about that, we're extending it again. We'll give you an update next month. Every single month we've had an email going, okay, we're extending it another month. We're going to see how this plays out. Which is great. Like, I'm glad to be able to work from home. I mean, I'm better than I used to be about like claustrophobia, and like I would get cabin fever. Like I remember a hurricane when I was little that we were stuck in the house for like a week, and my dad literally had to catch me and haul me back in the house because I tried to run because I couldn't handle it.
I love claustrophobia has been replaced with agoraphobia. I tried to go to the aquarium last weekend and we left like within a half an hour because we were too afraid of like having our son catch COVID because there are too many people there.
I feel that too. Like it's been a reversal. It's gone from claustrophobia to agoraphobia because like when I go out, I can't handle it. Like
yeah, I mean that's how I was initially in my building because you have to. I'm on like the 14th floor, so you have to get in the elevator. And if more than 4 people, like I just now started getting used to being okay with 4 people in the elevator, but I couldn't handle it. I was like, no. And then also another fun thing is that we didn't know in the there's signs in the elevator on how you're supposed to stand in the 4 corners. So you're technically supposed to stand with your nose into the corner because that's how the pictures are. People like that until like 6 months later, somebody noticed it, and we're like, "What?" And we're like, "Oh, that's funny. No one does that."
Let me just stand in the corner like I'm a bad kid.
That's so creepy.
Supposed to like your face is like because that's how the photo.
It makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it does make sense. But it's terrifying. Can you imagine if you got on and the other 3 people in 3 corners were spacing? I'd feel like, no, thank you. I don't want to die today. I'll walk.
Yeah. So usually I only get
like
on
AC next time. Do that.
But some people didn't understand because I have claustrophobia, so I do not like getting in an elevator to begin with. So when you add it with the germ thing, and then you add it with people, so it's like I was like, "That's too many people. 4 people's too many people." And someone was like, "What do you mean too many people?" And I was like, so they looked at me like I was crazy, but I'm like, "Well, I'm wearing a mask, so you can't tell who I am anyway." So now it's not as bad, but I remember that first couple, like back in the office last September, of me being so afraid. I would take the stairs to the 14th floor.
The first things I did when I realized the pandemic was happening. First off, I watched Mythbusters. I watched the episode where they had like a tea party and they had him rigged up with like a drippy nose. Like they had a fake like hose going to his nose, but they covered it with prosthetics. And so like he was supposed to, it was a fluorescent liquid dripping from his nose, like a nose drip. Like he said, it felt like a real nose drip even. And so I watched the episode where they did that, and like they walked you through like how he was like touching everything, and like they did 2 rounds, one where he was like acting normal, and then one where he was like actively trying not to spread it. And it was like night and day, literally, because they fluoresced. Which the only person that was the same in both experiments was Carrie, because she's a germaphobe, and so she was doing her normal thing, and so she had nothing on her. And then, like, one of them was, like, just covered, and he's just like, ugh. So I watched that, and then I watched a bunch of videos on the Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my method of coping is know thine enemy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Inform. Wait,
I did a crap ton of research before, like, all of my surgeries, because, like, the unknown scares me, so if it's known, I'll be less scared. And then I scared the nurses because I know too much, in their opinion. They literally, because, like, a friend of mine worked at the hospital, they told her, they're like, she knew a little too much about what everything was going on, and, like, she was way too involved. So, the main other thing that I wanted to touch on with COVID is just, like, as far as, like, mental health is, everyone I know is dying. Like, every week this past month, I've been informed that someone I know died. Mostly former coworkers. I had one die this Monday, and I can't even attend her service because one of my coworkers had a family pass away that's the same shift as me, and so, like, they're pulling people from another team to help me out already, so I can't ask off for this week because they are already so short-staffed that I'm working with completely different people than I normally would. And I'm of two minds on everything. Like, I want to go, but I don't want to go because there's people there. And, like, I want to see the people, but I don't want to be near the people. And, like, with the next con I'm supposed to attend, I want it to be canceled, and I want to go. Because I want to go, but I don't want to see the people and get, you know, have crap happen. And it's just, like, it's so weird to, like, feel the opposite way about the same thing at the same time. And,
Yeah.
like, everything I want to do it, and I don't want to do it. I want it to happen, I don't want it to happen. And then, like, as far as, like, the vaccine, I thought, okay, if people will get vaccinated, and, like, it's been bad enough, we've lost enough people that people will get vaccinated. No. Like, the whole anti-vaxxer thing has just come to a head with this. And I got it as soon as I could. Because, like, I get the flu vaccine most years because the flu knocks me on my butt. I've hallucinated with the flu. I had chills and fever so bad that I hugged a heater. Like, I wrapped a towel around me and a space heater, and I didn't stop until I smelled my skin burning. Because I was so cold and, like, not thinking properly. So, if that's how I react to the flu, I don't want to see how I react to COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the vaccine, I'm concerned that I'll have a really bad time with it. Because my body sucks and hates me. I need to go and see an allergist again just to confirm, like, what I'm allergic to, because it's been so long since the last time I was tested. Because, like, I know that I'm supposed to outgrow them, but, like, my elder siblings have developed allergies, so I'm also afraid that I'm going to get more.
Yeah. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. I just, like...
And because they're so expensive, I don't currently have an EpiPen.
I'm sorry. That's, like, to this day, the biggest travesty of one of the biggest travesties of healthcare. It's like, or health insurance. It's like, are you serious? Why aren't those free?
There are so many memes of, if it's so great, like, why are they giving it away for free? If they're not giving away, like, diabetic supplies and all this, and it's just like, you're so close to the point.
You almost have it.
You're so close. You're almost there. Like, diabetics should not be rationing insulin. It's not expensive to make.
If you need it to live, it should be, you shouldn't have to, like, decide whether you get to eat or you get to, like, live.
Yeah. Period. Basic human rights and things that should be guaranteed to all humans. Period.
Yeah, like the very basic necessities. I mean, that's why do we have a government if not to provide for us the things that we can't?
Oligarchy.
Like,
because we live in an oligarchy, not a democracy.
For real.
Let's be real. No, for real though. It's like, ha ha ha. I'm serious.
For real though.
Like, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
I
we
think,
end up with so many cults. People need help, and so they resort to a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I keep
It's
having
just
friends
like-
that are like, let's buy this big house and make our own compound. I'm like, that's how you start a cult.
I've
Like, I think you have an
been
awesome
watching those
cult, but it
TikToks
will be a
like
cult.
that could be me.
I'll put money down on the compound.
I'll be there.
you joke.
I
but
like
my-
chickens.
They build a house.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Call it the property.
Oh,
And I've made jokes. It's like, this is how cults start. Like, shh.
I don't know why, but like every single time I hear something like that, when I hear the word compound, like, okay, we have to return to the compound. Don't ask me why. I mean, it's because I'm obsessed with Jurassic Park, but I always think of Jurassic Park. It's like, oh, we gotta get to the compound. And it's just like, are there raptors there? Like, what are we doing?
I think that would be more likely to lure me is like, you have dinosaurs?
Yes, me too. Like, oh, can I look at them? I would definitely be the person that dies. Complete side note. I would be the one that dies at Jurassic Park. Absolutely. Or Jurassic World, I guess. I would have gone and gotten killed. Was that?
Because you went to pet the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Just
No,
take
man.
them
I
to the
100%
petting zoo.
would have
They have a
died.
petting zoo.
No, I just want to go. I want to go to the kids' petting zoo. Can we do that? Can that be a thing? That was awesome.
Man, can you imagine getting to pet like a baby Stegosaurus or a baby like Triceratops or something? Like that would be the coolest freaking thing. That's all I would need. It would be worth the price of admission to Jurassic World to touch a single dinosaur. It'd be like, yeah, I will give you $100. I will give you $600. Let me touch the dinosaur. But like, do you remember okay, super quick tangent. You remember in Jurassic World, they had all the different things you could do and see like the herbivores, right? Really cool stuff, man.
Yeah, actually,
I love that.
I have a pamphlet from when the movie came out. They had like it was kind of like the maps that you get at like Universal. And whatnot. They were giving
Yeah, I
it out
get
at
that
the
back.
movie theater.
You let me borrow that, and I give it back.
So
It's like
cool.
a map of Jurassic World, and I have it somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's so cool.
I would totally be Grant and break the ride to go see the eggs, because that's what I would want to see. I would want to see the baby egg. Like,
Should
can we
be
go
able to
see
do
that?
I guess we're going.
Yeah,
I love that.
Going.
I love that they were fighting about putting locking mechanisms on the doors too. You're like, why didn't you? Wait, what are you doing?
So COVID, dinosaurs, same thing. So there
Yeah.
you go.
Oh, hello.
I mean,
I have a
DNA
cat.
sequencing of things.
Come on up, babe.
Yes.
So, guys, did
Look at his head.
we do the thing? I think there was a thing, and I think we did it.
I think so
we came
too.
close.
Yeah.
Okay, so we made this uncomfortable world a little bit more comfortable.
Yay!
Yay. So, like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Just kidding. Thank you. Bye.